Brack Chat episode 2, and as you've seen by the title and thumbnail, we have gone big in the YouTube darts world. I had a chat with Mr. Matthew Edgar. I've got to say, what a great guy. We planned for this video to be 20 minutes long, and it took like 45 minutes, nearly an hour. I could listen to him talk all day. Some great stories, which I think you'll really enjoy. I just want to say I apologise for my audio. I've got a new microphone, and I don't really know how to use it properly, as you'll see in the video. So apologies for my audio. Please, if you do like this video, please subscribe. It'll allow me to get some lessons in how to use audio and video equipment to make my podcast better in the future. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So today I'm joined by Mr. Matthew Edgar. If you don't know Matthew is a darts player, YouTuber, pundit, commentator. Now, coming on the scene on TikTok as well, taking over TikTok, getting some traction on there as well. So thanks for joining us, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, it's when you go through those, it's the jack of all trades, master of none sort of scenario, isn't it? Really, when it comes to darts.
So, like I say, Matt does all sorts of different stuff. He's everywhere, all over social media. You haven't seen him on YouTube, obviously, go and check YouTube out. He's one of the reasons actually I started making YouTube videos. So first of all, thanks a lot for getting out there on YouTube. What we'll do, a few little get-to-know questions for yourself, a few strange ones, so hopefully we'll catch you off guard and get some good answers from you. So let's go for it. So first one's nice and easy. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, do you know what, right? I'm going to give one of those really different answers. So a lot of the time, I've never met anybody who goes, where I live, it's terrible. You know, it's always that. No one ever goes, do you know what? I live in a really nice place. I actually like where I live.
Yeah.
And actually, for what I do, I'm located in the perfect place.
Yeah.
Because I live in Daventry, which is bang in the middle of the UK, which everything's sort of 2 hours travel for me. Now, you know, I'm friends with people like Ryan Searle, who live down in the very bottom of the UK. So if he goes to a pro tour in Wigan, he's got like a 7-hour drive.
Yeah.
I tend to not to have that problem. I tend to find that everything's within a few hours. So do you know what? I might just want a nicer house, but in terms of location, I'm quite happy where I am.
That's actually a nice answer. Normally people say Barbados or something like that, but it's nice to. It's good.
I don't like the heat. I'm not a fan of the sun, you see. So all these sort of idealistic locations that people want to live because of the sunshine, I'd be in the shade anyway, so there's no benefit to that.
Okay, next question. Your latest guilty pleasure?
Oh, the latest. This is the thing, right? Again, I'm giving terrible answers because you've probably got these loaded up thinking I'm going to come in with something really exciting. But actually, honestly, I've had no time for anything in regards to doing anything but darts, because certainly since January, darts has been so busy that I've barely had any time at home. You know, I'm having 3 days at home at the moment. That's the only time I've had at home for like the last 3 weeks. So I'm literally coming home, changing suitcase and off again. So realistically, having time to pick something new up has been slightly, I'd probably say it's got to be TikTok.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll sit there and I'll be flicking through things and I'll go through like 2 hours and I'm like, what have I just done with 2 hours of my life? Like, I've watched like some guy do this dance. I've watched this and I'm like, 2 hours I've sat watching a guy making baked potatoes. You know, it's mad, but I get so indulged with it. So I'd say late night TikToking is, as you probably know from how we met originally, some late night TikToking. Yeah, it goes a little bit. You go down some rabbit holes.
TikTok is dangerous. You can sit there, just have 5 minutes, and then before you know it, it's 2 a.m. and you don't know where you are. It's which brings actually really nicely to my next question. So thanks for that. I appreciate that, because the next question is, who is your favourite YouTuber or TikToker?
Oh, okay. There's quite a few I like on TikTok. Favorite. That's a tough one. I'll go with YouTube first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I love watching like resellers.
Okay.
And I love watching, because I'm a big fan of like retro toys and collectibles.
Yeah.
And I've got a massive collection myself. So I like watching the resellers who go on car boots and buy things to sell.
Okay.
Because I like seeing it when they see all the old toys. Because for me, there's nothing more exciting than finding that item. Like, you've got retro toy shops.
Yeah.
But like, if you walk past a charity shop and in the window there's like that to me is like one of the most exciting things in my life. I'm that guy. And I go to a car boot sale. I've drove like an hour to get there. I've bought like an old figure that I've managed to save £2 on from buying it from but because I found it on someone's, it's exciting, it's cool. So I love watching all those sort of things. You've got them on TikTok as well, but I don't think that content quite relates across the same way
Yeah,
it does on YouTube video, because I think it's something that you've got to enjoy the hunt of. Where on TikTok, it's all about we've got the moment, we've got that thing. Do you know what? I actually quite like Minimize.
yeah. What a guy! What a guy he is. He's
Yeah,
unbelievable. He's growing so fast as well. He's doing so good.
and it's when you watch his lives, and you're just watching him, and it'll just all of a sudden just frog splash a carrot, and it's like,
Yeah, he's
and
unbelievable. What a guy.
yeah, he's going to do very, very well for himself.
He is.
Absolutely, he's got such great personality, and you can tell it's just the best characters are people who are themselves with the volume just turned up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's minimized. You can tell he's that guy, but when he's on TikTok, he just turns it up a little bit.
yeah,
And that, to me, is how you develop and grow sort
yeah.
of personality and character in the public domain. And he's nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Okay, next question we've got for you. I'm going to ask the question, then I'm going to just add a little bit on the end of it because I've done a little bit of research on you, but it was based on Wikipedia, so not sure how true this is. So I'll ask the question
Okay.
first, and I'll change it slightly. So, if you weren't involved in darts, be it playing, commentating, punditry, YouTube, what would you be doing? And a little side note to that is, I went on your Wikipedia earlier, and this might make me look really silly if this is incorrect, but on your Wikipedia it says you used to be a wrestler, MMA sort of.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
And
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think I don't know if you ever spoke about it on your channel, but I don't think many people know this. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, I spoke about it a little bit during lockdown.
Yeah,
And I speak about it quite regularly because it's something I'd like to go do again.
yeah,
It's not out of my system, but due to injuries that probably sustained during that period of time and sort of niggled through into the darts, and also through age,
yeah,
um, being fat nowadays rather than being in shape. Um, many different issues. But the thing is, I'm losing weight now, and every time I go to the gym and I start training, I've just lost over a stone already.
brilliant.
And now I'm already thinking like, "Ooh, I wonder if I could."
Yeah,
And then and I still speak to a lot of promoters, and like one of them's invited me down to a show in 2 weeks now,
yeah,
and I'm going to go down and watch the show. But then by watching the show, I'm probably going to be like, I want to get in.
fancy it. Yeah,
I want to get in the ring. And yeah, I do want to do it. If I'm going to do it, it's got to be sooner rather than later because I'm getting older. As you know, getting older. Just sat here having this conversation. So things are getting harder. Certainly, you've got it in your mind. So like, I go and play football every now and then, and in my mind, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. And then as soon as I try to put that application forward, it doesn't work. I don't move the same way. I can't turn the same way. And I can imagine that's going to be the same. That in my mind, I can put on these great matches and do these great things, but then as soon as I get in there, it's not going to work. So it's not a closed book yet. I'd think I wouldn't be surprised if I do it, and if I do it, it's going to be next year.
yeah,
But also, I've got to find time in my diary to do that because ultimately, you've got to do the job first. And I work for a lot of different companies and broadcasters now. I'm in negotiations with even further,
nice.
so
Nice.
I'll probably be working for even more broadcasters by the end of this year. Some very well known ones as well, which makes it very exciting. So that's interesting, but then do you find time that you can have a couple of weekends spare to go do some shows, and can you train to the level you need to be in order to hit that peak performance? I would dare say no, but with that, certainly wrestling, like MMA, I think is done. I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Yeah,
But wrestling's all about stories, telling a story and taking the crowd on the story and giving them that experience. And I think with what I've done now with darts and since I left wrestling, after my time within that, I had many championships and held belts. So, there's stories and links there that we can go on a journey, having that time away from the ring, coming back to it because I want to,
yeah,
not because I need to, not to try and make money, not to do these other things, because I want to do it.
yeah.
I think there's a story there that could be told throughout a match or a series of matches.
That's excellent. I hope that all goes through because that'd be something I'd love to watch. I'd love to see you up there
Yeah.
doing the bits. That'd be great to watch. Next question: most prized possession.
Oh, see, I've got quite a few. I've got quite a few. And that's where it's tough. Like I say, I'm a collector.
Yep.
And the mind of a collector is a strange and weary place. Now, I've got things from like old retro toys right the way through to signed collectibles and some amazing memorabilia that people have sourced for me over the years. So, in terms of my collection, it'd have to be a piece from that. Which piece it is, I've got a signed urn by the Undertaker,
Wow.
which has got JSA certificate. I've got things from like rare Holy Grail, like a boxed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Technodrome, which is from the original like 1988 line. So I'd say that's high up there. There's just so many really cool sort of items that I've got that it's so hard to try and pinpoint. I'm literally looking at my collections now, just thinking, is there a piece I would put forward for it? Is it a personal piece, maybe? Winning on the Alexandra Palace stage, the World Championships.
Yeah.
No feeling like it. When you watch it, your life, and I've still got that shirt. I've got that shirt framed, and the photos from maybe that piece because it's so personal to the journey and the sacrifice and the commitment that you make to even get to that stage. So to have that shirt frame, maybe we'll go with that. We'll go with that piece because I think that's to me. An item isn't just a product; it's the story that symbolizes behind the product,
Absolutely.
and that one symbolizes what it has been for me, a lifetime of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that one piece gives me that one moment on that stage that I wanted.
That's a pretty good answer. I think the darts fans that are watching this will love that one as well. That's a nice one for the darts fans.
Yeah.
One word answer this one, and we'll move straight on. One word answer: is football coming home? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. I think everyone knows what you're thinking there, so we'll leave that there for now. Okay, right. Let's get more onto you. So, obviously, you started as a darts player and a very successful darts player, playing your tour cards and so on. Where did it all begin for you? What age did you start playing darts, and what got you into darts, and what was the reason for wanting to play darts and become a professional darts player?
Okay, so I could give you like an hour's worth of answer now because this is a journey, shall we say? Some of the story's been told already, either on other sort of outlets or on my own channel, so you'll be able to probably pick up on some of these bits. But I'll give you sort of the outline of it. So I was in Blackpool, day out as a child, and I had £1 left or £1.20 or whatever, and nobody at that age goes home with money in their pocket. You buy whatever you've got, and they're like, Matt, we're going. I'm like, right, I need to buy something. And we was on Blackpool North Pier, and outside of the shop, which is now a coffee shop, there was a dartboard. It was a sticky dartboard. You lick the dart, you throw it at the board. It was £1. I said, I want that. So I got that, and I took it home. And then I started playing on it. And I was playing on it loads. I was like, I like this. I kept playing on it. And eventually, the darts weren't sticking no more. And my parents owned a shop. We lived in Langold at the time. And they owned a shop. And in the shop, they had one of those wooden dartboards. Is it My was the brand, like M.Y? And my dad goes, oh, you can take that dartboard then. You can use that one, the wooden one. And within a couple of days, I'd used it that much that it was useless. The chunks were missing, the wires coming off of it, 'cause it's just a wooden board that they've stapled things to. So he goes, right, I have to get you a proper one then. So got me a proper dartboard, and I'm playing on that. And I played on it for years at home, and I'd make home tournaments, me, my brother, my mum, and my dad. And I got the FA Cup because you used to get the magazines, and on the front you'd get like the blow up FA Cup. So we used to have a house tournament for the FA Cup that would blow up and write darts over it rather than the FA Cup. And we played on that, and I got to about 13 years old. And we started going down the club, and I was practicing with my dad down the club, and the captain came in, and he goes, will you play for our darts team? It's like, you can't play all of the games because some of the venues won't let you in, being 13. He said, but you can play the home venues and you'll play most of the away ones. There'll be a couple you can't. I'm like, oh, absolutely, I want to play. And I won the singles, the men's singles competition at 13 in my first season. I went through the season. I think I lost one match. I'd won the most tons. I hit most 180s, highest finish. I sat at a presentation night with about 10 trophies in front of me. And then I was like, maybe there's something in this. Maybe I can do all right. Then my nan got wind that I'd started playing. And this is where the story takes a really weird twist. So my granddad had passed many years prior, and I never knew my granddad as a dart player. But then my nan was like, "Oh, your granddad used to be good at darts," and you hear those sort of stories all the time. And I've gone round, and she pulls out a box, and this might even go into prized possessions. So pulls out this box, and in there is all of his memorabilia from when he played back in the 60s. So my granddad got through to the News of the World quarterfinals. So News of the World was win your pub, win your town, win your camp, and all the way through to Alexandra Palace, where my granddad played in the 60s. And we've got like a menu that's signed by all the players. I've got his gold darts, his silver darts. That's what used to get as prizes back then. A silver tea set. And my granddad was actually one of the first ever players sponsored by Unicorn.
Wow.
So I've got that as well, like a commemorative trophy from Unicorn. And when I look through this box of all these bits, it's like what you used to get back then, literally a set of gold darts, a set of silver darts. I remember having a chat with Eric Bristow, and Eric Bristow was like, "You've got all the News of the World memorabilia from start to finish." I'm like, "Yeah," and they're showing him pictures. And he said to me, he goes, "How much do you want for it?" I said, "I wouldn't sell it." And he got a checkbook, and he goes, "Write what you want." He's like, I want that. I want that memorabilia." And I'm like, "Look, I can't. It's my granddad's. It's been passed to me. I feel this is something that I'll probably add my own to and pass to my children, and hopefully they will add something to it and pass." And I said, I think it'd be a lovely sort of timeline of like if you're successful with something, add that to this, and we can pass it through the family. So I said that this is something that just isn't ever sort of for sale. And then when I looked into it, that it's so limited how many sets of these are actually out there in the world. So I was like, right, okay, that's good. So I carried on playing, got to late teens, and darts wasn't as cool as it is nowadays. It wasn't as publicized. It wasn't as things like this didn't exist. There was no such thing as a podcast. There was no such thing as a YouTube channel of darts. There was, none of these things existed that make darts more sort of socially accepted in a way. And 18, 19, that's not as cool anymore. I'm not transitioning well from winning lots of youth events to playing in ranked men's events where now I'm starting to lose. Didn't like it. So I was like, right, what can I do as well? So then that's when I started training, and I went, right, I'm wrestling. From wrestling, you start boxing. From boxing, you start MMA. And I sort of had 5-6 years where that was more priority. And I didn't even play darts. I stopped playing altogether. The confidence was absolutely shot. And it was only one night, because my dad was still playing. There was only one night where he goes, "Matt, can you come play for us tonight?" I'm like, I don't play darts, Dad. I haven't played for like 18 months. He goes, "No, can you come? We're short tonight." He goes, "Even if you just turn up and lose 2-0, he goes, I'd rather someone have to win than just give them the result." I said, "Okay, I'll come play." And I went 11 and 13 darts. And I was like,
Ridiculous.
what happened there? Like, I played for 18 months and I've just gone 11 and 13 darts. So I'm like, right, okay. And then he goes, "Do you want to play next week?" I'm like, "I think I should." And then from there, I started playing county again. And then I went, look, I don't want to go down this road because I hate that side of darts in a way.
Yeah.
Like, to me, and the advice I'll give anybody is